As I come back from my short break, I start up an old favorite game and queue into a match. The screen changes and I'm taken to the menu. 9 distinct classes, each with their own unique skill sets. But which am I to choose? The soldier? The demoman? Nah. But then I remember. The spy. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? But I did. As I spawn in game, I see my old loadout. The knife, the dead ringer, and of course the ambassador. This is gonna be such an easy game. There's no way he hits it. Alright. Fuck! No, don't do it. Man. I'm washed. At this point, could I even call myself a pub stomper? What am I doing wrong? My loadout is the same, so could it just be that I'm using the wrong loadout? Of course, the gun must be the problem. For a second there, I thought I was bad or something. Now, what gun should I replace it with? Maybe the revolver? It has decent base damage and random crits. With this, maybe people will stop calling me slurs when I kill them, like the ambassador. Nah. No. What I really need is more damage. A gun that can provide the balls to the walls damage that I'm looking for. But guns like the ambassador take too much accuracy for reliable damage. Wait, when was this here? I think there's a gun stuck in here. Oh my god. It's perfect. It's the... Can you all believe it? The best gun in the game, and it was under our noses the whole time. It has so many great things about it, like a 20% damage bonus, only in specific situations, and that's pretty much it. It also has very minimal downsides, like a 20% lower firing speed, and no random crits. Who is writing this shit? Oh. Wait. To be honest, when first writing this, I couldn't see any reason the Enforcer should be switched with all the better options. But I wanted to find its worth where others couldn't. Let me just say that from this video, I have way too much knowledge about this gun than any sane person should. Like, at this point, I could just write it on my resume, or even a fucking date.
Hi.
Hi.
Enforcer.
So, what is the Enforcer and what does it do? Well, let's start with its base damage. Spy's guns, like many others, have damage falloff, which means it does less damage the farther it is. Except for Sniper. Thanks, Valve. There are 3 distances that determine its damage, which is point blank, medium, and long range. The Enforcer's damage is actually higher than all of Spy's other unlocks and shares the same damage as the revolver. When I say it does higher damage, it's really hard to notice, like from here to But TF2 as a whole revolves around damage thresholds, so while it may not seem that different, it has a big impact on gameplay. I mean, I think it does. Let's start with the most obvious one. 20% damage increase while disguised. It's exactly as it says, or at least now it is. As I said before, damage thresholds are what balances the game and limits what a class can do. The damage bonus now means that Spy can effectively kill light classes at point blank. Now yes, the Ambassador can do the same, and so can the Diamondback. The only problem is that the Ambassador requires at least a single headshot and the Diamondback a crit. These requirements mold Spy's gameplay, with Ambi requiring you to know your own skill level to pull off plays, and the Diamondback, well, it's pretty obvious that you need to prioritize backstabs and saps before using crits. Even with the crits, you would normally have more than one, so playing up to point blank is not ideal. The Enforcer's only requirement is the disguise, which allows for more consistent plays at point blank, and no worries other than to hit your shots and having the whole body to shoot rather than just the head, which makes it a lot more lenient. Spy is also the only class that can position himself anywhere in the map, so he can try to place himself where the Enforcer has an advantage. When fighting an engineer, the Enforcer makes it easy to sap his sentry and pop him twice to make a clean sweep of his defenses. Most of the time, engineers won't respect the Spy if they see them in front, which makes it easier to hit. Once you land the first shot and they see that their health is already in half, they won't have much time to react to the second bullet. Obviously the situation always varies, but never doubt your own damage when fighting him. Just make sure not to stand too close to him if he has his wrench out. Yeah, let's just move on.
I was waking up getting rags in the morning.
Now the scout is actually a tricky one. No one should really target the scout since he's too agile. Only times the interaction should come into play is if he sees you and is, well, after you. If you are in close range, it's really whoever can land their shots better, except one side is really better suited for it. The Enforcer gives you an option at least for a chance to kill the scout in 2 hits. You should never actively go and find a scout. Even if you do find him, I would try to utilize backstabs and actively avoid a 1v1. Even if you do see him fighting your teammates, I like to play the bystander and try to see an opportunity, but everyone's playstyle is different, so play to how you like it. Piercing damage sounds good on paper, but completely unseen in game. It simply means it can bypass certain resistances that is based on percentage. I'm not going to go into every detail for every resistance, but I will list them below. The reason why I'm not going to go into detail is because Spy shouldn't be challenging these resistances in the first place. This is also why I skipped through the Spy interaction, since most of the time you won't be fighting him anyways. But the piercing damage can make it so that you can 2-shot him even while he's invisible. There is one resistance that is somewhat practical, which is the Wrangler. It does let you shoot through resistances on the sentry, but you would need to be at close range to really do damage, and at that point, why not just sap it? You could also make the argument to kill the medic's pocket and then kill him with the Enforcer if they are running a resistance medigun, but most of the time they are going to be surrounded by their teammates, so it's kind of hard to pull off. Plus, even if you are going that close of range to kill them, I would actually recommend targeting the medic instead, since he's always building uber charge. Some people might argue that having the pocket dead is better because they have more health, but killing the medic is honestly better in the long run since they're building uber or have uber, so taking them out should be top priority, and it just helps your team out in the long run. Now, it could have been really funny to just, put the picture of the Enforcer for the downsides, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, maybe a little bit. Surprisingly though, the Enforcer's downsides aren't too bad. Okay, relax, put down the pitchforks, let me explain. The slower firing rate reduces the attack interval between bullets to 0.6 seconds. This number is actually the exact same as the Ambassador, which makes it hard to believe it's a downside. Let's get another perspective. The 0.6 second firing speed is actually faster than the Scattergun, which has a firing speed of 0.625 seconds. Personally, I never noticed the slower firing rate since I'm used to the Ambassador and I haven't heard it being complained about before. Granted, no one uses the Enforcer, but the reduced firing rate is hardly a problem. Surprisingly, this is actually one of the main arguments why people choose the Revolver over the Enforcer, but I just don't see it. Outside of Valve's main servers, most places have random crits turned off to begin with, so playing with the Enforcer doesn't really limit you in any way. If anything, it actually teaches you to play without relying on random crits. So unless you're just building a funny random crits compilation, this really won't affect you at all. Also, personally, I really don't like random crits. You can listen to my live reaction. Oh, what the fuck? And that's it. The Enforcer has been dragged through the mud after it had been nerfed to the ground, but many people don't realize the potential it has like many other guns. Is it game breaking? No, it really isn't. But it is a nice change of pace, and who doesn't need some of that once in a while? As for me, I think I'll keep using it. Because I bought a strange one, and I do not know why I did that. Please someone help. Thanks everyone for helping me get to 190 subscribers at the time of recording. I always make my videos right before my goals for some reason, just like my last one, but I'm happy that we're almost to 200. Thank you guys, I needed the validation. Anyways, if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.